Hey guys, Baba here. Our knowledge in the 21st century seems to be useless to treat and prevent coronavirus deaths. Cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and chronic respiratory disease are among the risk conditions. Sorry guys to be still in Portuguese. But what if we could find a common point in the symptoms of coronavirus and the influenza virus, in the metabolism of residues and the nutrients, and finally making a synthesis of the vast published scientific knowledge? Let's see. There is a substance closely linked to heart disease, breathing problems, allergies, and diabetes. The evidence for the connections of these diseases to the problems is vast, perhaps one of the greatest among the many areas of medical research. It has very high toxicity, generate vicious cycles called self-looping in biochemistry, capable of feeding back its production, and above all, generating a lot of oxidative stress that triggers the removal of calcium from the bones as a last resort against it, aggravating bronchospasm and the respiratory system, also worsening arteriosclerosis, which further complicates the circulatory condition already weakened in the patients. Glutathione, the largest antioxidant produced by the body, is also depleted by this compound. But what if we could stop it? Science has already tested it. In cases of influenza and other influenza viruses, inhibitors of the transport of this compound have been tested, which can dramatically reduce the viral functioning and infection. Well, let's continue. I will get back to this. Now let's get into the related metabolic pathways. Calcium can return to the bones through genetic activation triggered by vitamin K2. Oxidative stress can only be partially contained with the major essential antioxidants, vitamins E and C. However, these vitamins cannot stop further damage. There comes the best part. Ways of recycling this compound have been discovered through essential nutrients. Zinc, as a cofactor for the BHMT enzyme, is able to recycle it and transform it into methionine, one of the essential amino acids. However, it is vitamin B6, B9, also known as folic acid, and B12 that can make up the most important metabolic pathways for recycling this substance to the amino acids cysteine and methionine. We have only stocks for vitamin B12, so in situations of infection and stress, we can exhaust all that remains of B6 and B9. That's right, our body recycles toxic substances into important metabolites. This compound is even linked to liver poisoning by paracetamol, the active substance in ibuprofen, which produces complications in patients with coronavirus. With its recycling, cysteine is produced. A semi-essential amino acid is capable of detoxifying and restoring liver functioning in this case. Enough suspense. Let's review this substance. It is homocysteine. Have you ever heard of it? Have you ever had a blood test with homocysteine test? It's amazing how our biological machines keep revealing its secrets. Now let's get to the sources. In the book Homocysteine on Health and Disease, and in 1995 article, we find the mechanism for stopping the influenza virus infection. So the researchers found a way to stop the propagation of the virus by stopping the spread of the toxin, in this case homocysteine. So this is another article on the topic. And this, let's go now to the heart of this research, the metabolic pathways connected to homocysteine. On the left side, we see the damage to DNA cells, allergic reactions that triggers calcium as an antioxidative mechanism, among other adverse effects. On the right, we see recycling through enzymes that have zinc, vitamin B6, B9, and B12 as cofactors. This is an article that shows how homocysteines can cause apoptosis or cell death. This is another one showing the inverse relationship between glutathione and homocysteine. So as high one is, as low the other is. Homocysteine and oxidative stress. Homocysteine inducing oxidative stress. Pathologies linked to homocysteine, cardiovascular and neurological disease. There are actually hundreds of articles just on the many diseases that homocysteine is linked to. And here we go to zinc in cases of respiratory crisis and bronchospasm in allergic and autoimmune reactions of asthma. In some studies, it has greatly accelerated the recovery from the crisis, as this one in IRAM. And there's already some evidence of zinc helping patients with coronavirus. And this Harvard article shows how simple it is to decrease homocysteine with vitamins B6, B9, and B12. By the way, the best form of vitamin B9 is methylfolate, and B12, methylcobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is highly toxic. Please avoid it. That's it, folks. Hope it can help people in severe conditions. Let's share and talk to doctors about this possibility in the light, this light in the end of the tunnel. Hopefully it can help somebody. Bye-bye.